And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes, and I am back to count down the top 10 budget cards in NBA 2K22, my team. You guys know the drill, 4 or 5 honorable mentions, and then the top 10 list. Now, what do I constitute as a budget card? The budget card terminology is a little bit skewed early game, I would say, for the most part. Later on in the year, you can find diamonds and pink diamonds that are incredibly good that almost match up with the opals and dark matters of the world for like 4 or 5,000 MT. Right now, though, I would consider it under 20k. Any card under 20k, I would consider to a certain extent as a budget card. So, with that being said, let's get the honorable mentions out of the way. Number one for the honorable mentions is a card that I talk about pretty frequently, and that is DeJounte Murray. I personally prefer the Mystic version, and that is because he has the Hall of Fame floor general, which I think is very, very helpful. Murray is fantastic. I mean, he's a big body point guard, 6'4", plays excellent defense, can attack the rim, he can shoot the three. His release is a little meh, in my opinion, but some people really like it. The 82 steal is misleading. He steals the ball at a much, much higher clip than that would indicate, realistically. 93 speed, 93 lat. He's a great defensive card, and if you're looking to kind of hold down some of the more top tier point guards on a budget, DeJounte Murray is kind of the guy you're looking at. Number two would be a card that, I don't know, I like, and this is a card that's much, much better on next gen than current gen, and that is John Stockton. Oops, sorry, Amethyst. Diamond John Stockton is the one. You can get this card for relatively cheap. He's one of the more expensive cards on this list, at least in my opinion. I personally think he is worth that price, though. For $19,000, he's really, really solid. Hall of Fame Dimer, Hall of Fame Pickpocket, Hall of Fame Clamps, and Hall of Fame Floor General. He's not going to move as well as a lot of point guards that are in the game right now. He does have like gold hyperdrive. He just doesn't have the greatest dribble moves in general. Quick Chain, Interceptor, Intimidator on gold. He has Lucky Number 7, Blinder, Circus, Limitless Spot Up, Chef. Quick First Step, even though you can't really move laterally anymore. So it's kind of whatever. Quick First Step barely isn't that important of a badge anymore. I mean, it still is. You're really going to notice it when somebody doesn't have Quick First Step, but it's not as overpowered as it once was. Other than that, just an excellent stable of badges. I would recommend boosting up his defensive leader if you do plan on using him. He is an incredibly good defender, really, and he can boost up the rest of your team's defenders as well. Rhythm shooter, I would definitely give him 2. Difficult shots also. This game is probably the first 2K in a while where you can really eat off mid-ranges, so it would really, really help to give him that. Shooting off the dribble mid-ranges could be very helpful for John Stockton. Some other badges you might want to give him, realistically, would be like Pro Touch, since he is kind of a layup god. That being said, if you have layup timing off, it's not really going to do anything. Set shooter, I guess, would be helpful to a certain extent, but that's about all you really need. He's very, very complete when he comes out. That being said, John Stockton is fantastic. If you're looking for a budget, for lack of a better term, floor general, then this is your boy. You should pick him up right now. All right, next honorable mention is a card I've talked about so much, I'm not going to go into too much detail on him, and that is Wang ZZ, or ZZ Wang. I'm not entirely sure. I never have been. He is the Apex budget center. You can get him for a very low price, around 4, sometimes even lower than 4K, most of the time lower, but the market's just up right now. 7 feet tall, 255. He can handle the rock a little bit. He can shoot. He can bang inside. He's not the greatest defender, but being 7 feet tall and 255, he's going to be able to hold it down. Good stable of badges. He does have like silver rim protector. I would recommend boosting that to gold if you can. Rim protector is not really that expensive of a badge. Interceptor, Intimidator on silver. Once again, Intimidator, I would recommend putting that on gold, but silver is fine in a pinch. Silver Quick First Step, silver Limitless. Very overall solid card. Like, there's really nothing wrong with Wang at all. He is the Apex budget center for a reason. Some badges I would probably give him, if applicable and if you can, would be Clutch Shooter. Very, very helpful. Super cheap badge that's going to help you a lot. Deadeye, if you can swing it. That's about it, though. Like, Fast Twitch is definitely helpful as well, especially if you feed him in the post. It's going to be very, very helpful to have that. Everything else, obviously, you'd want to put on him, but it's not really 100% necessary for him to be usable. Next up is another kind of budget mainstay, which is why they don't make the top 10 list, because everyone knows about these cards or has them. and that's Robert Covington. Also, he's a little bit expensive. I think you can get the same level of production that Robert Covington brings you out of some other guys that are a little bit cheaper. And for that reason, I would say that's probably why he is an honorable mention. Also, you can't add any badges to him, I don't think. Let me see what badges you can actually upgrade. Yeah, none. I mean, he's got a great stable of badges automatically. If you're looking for a pure 3 and D, either small forward or power forward, then he's great. I wish you could at least upgrade these silver badges, because giving him like rebound chaser and defensive leader gold would be very, very helpful. Same with menace. Other than that, though, I mean, you guys know what's up with him. Final honorable mention is another card pretty much every single person has, which is why I'm not going to spend a lot of time covering him, and that's Jonathan Isaac. Like, he's worth this price. You can probably find him cheaper realistically, but he is by far the best Sapphire in this entire game. And I'd be willing to stay at the power forward position or at the small forward position. He's better than a vast majority of like rubies and amethysts, to be honest. He's better than some diamonds. Like, Jonathan Isaac is fire. 6'11". You know, his badge count already out of box is great. He's pretty much got everything you would really need from a player that does what Jonathan Isaac does. Badges I would recommend giving him that are not crazy expensive. If you're playing him at power forward and you run a lot of screens, obviously brick wall is going to be very important to give him at that point. Rim protector as well would be helpful, especially if you run him at the power forward like I do consistently. Any badges are really going to help him. Hot zone hunter, limitless takeoff is probably pretty helpful as well. Don't sleep on volume shooter either. Volume shooter is also really helpful. A bonus guy, I didn't really think I was even going to put him on the list, but I feel like it's kind of necessary, is Cole Anthony Amethyst. He is very expensive because he has a dynamic duo with Jonathan Isaac that makes them both really, really solid. Just wanted to highlight that. Let's get to the top 10 list. Number 10, one of the more expensive cards on this list, but I feel like he often gets kind of left behind because he is, to a certain extent, like a little bit outdated at this point, and that is Isaiah Thomas. You can get him for under 20K most times. He's up a little bit because it's Sunday morning right now, but Hofdimer, Hofposterizer, Limitless, Floor General. A lot of the ones that you're going to find are going to have at least some sort of badge edition or shoe edition. He's really, really solid. Now, he only has silver clamps, which is fine. I would recommend upgrading it, but it's really not worth putting an extra like 10K into Isaiah Thomas to upgrade that, honestly. Pickpocket, I would bring up too. He's got decent steal animation, so it helps out. Intimidator, he's not the greatest card in the world, but he's very, very solid. Number 9 is, you guys know this one. It's one of my favorite cards in the entire game. Mikal Bridges. I mean, Hoff interceptor, so he's going to jump lanes with the best of them. 6'6" with a really money jump shot, in my opinion anyway. 89.3, 80 driving dunk. The 79 ball handle is a little bit misleading because he can actually handle the ball relatively well. 94 steal, 90 perimeter defense. Like, he's kind of a do-it-all wing. As far as badges, I mean, he's got pretty much everything you'd really want him to have except for limitless spot up, which is definitely helpful. You'd like to see him have quick first step and handles in gold, but it's not completely necessary. If you want to upgrade anything, I would recommend upgrading volume shooter. You can do that for like 800 MT and it helps him immensely. No, you should never play this guy at power forward, so I wouldn't suggest upgrading like interior defensive badges realistically. Like limitless spot up is the one that I would say yes for sure, but it's expensive. Clutch shooter you can upgrade for relatively cheap, and that's going to help him quite a bit. I try not to go into detail on like the high tier badges to upgrade. Number 8 is a new card, and honestly, he is expensive, but I wanted to highlight him because I think he's really good. Walter Davis. Walter Davis is a T-Mac clone. You can get him for around 12, 13K, I think is what he was going for last night. It's about what he's going for today, too, around 13. He's good, though. 6'6" with Trey Burke base, obviously fine. 83-pointer isn't great, but it's usable. 94 driving deck, like just an absolute strong mustache. Very well manicured, I will say. Coming from someone who doesn't have a well manicured mustache, I would like to give props to Walter Davis. Walter Davis just looks like a 1970s basketball player, to be completely honest with you. 86 ball handle, like really solid perimeter defense. Not the greatest steal, but usable. Not the greatest speed either. Not the greatest lateral quickness. He does have some very noticeable issues, but he's a really fun card to use. He also has really solid tendencies. And as far as badges, that fast twitch, you'd be surprised how helpful that is for somebody like Walter Davis. Catch and shoot corner specialist, glue hands, clamps. He's about as average as they come. He's very good. He needs some badge additions, I will say that. No hot zones at the 3-point line, but he's a very fun card to use. Anybody who's used him can tell you that. Number 7 is a card we also got recently, which I think was Friday. Yeah. Paul Horizon. Now, I personally would recommend going with the NBA 75 Paul Horizon just because he'll hold his value more so than the Cryogenesis one. But if you're looking to do XP, I feel you on that. Paul Horizon's very, very solid. Like 6'4", he's not the greatest point guard. That I will say. Like as far as point guards go, he plays much better at the shooting guard. That is not accurate. Or not accurate, I'm sorry. That is not to say he's bad. Paul Horizon has jump shot 95, same as like Jalen Green and Oladipo. A really solid release, very easy to green. 95 driving dunk, that 78 ball handle is what really hurts him. And he doesn't really bring you the defense that Marcus Smart does, but he does 90 perimeter defense is really solid. 87 speed, wish that was a little higher, but he's decent. Limitless takeoff, catch and shoot corner specialist, glue hands, rebound chaser on gold, which I thought was pretty interesting. Clutch shooter, deadeye, hot zone hunter, solid hot zones. I wish he had more shooting badges, but if you get an upgraded one, like he's super solid. That's why he's low on the list though. Number 6 is a card that you're pretty much going to run into anytime you play like a budget player, and that is Diamond Domantas Sabonis. Now, once again, he has his issues as well, but I think he's one of the best big men you can get for around 7-8K. Like, he's actually really good. 6'11", like he can shoot 82 3-point shot. Yes, he's got a slow release, but I don't think it's as detrimental as you would think. You know what I mean? I really don't. Like, it's not great. I'll be honest. Like jump shot 10 is not great at all. It's Penny Hardaway release. Same with like Reggie Jackson has it, but he has the Jason Kidd upper, which is actually not terrible. You'd be shocked. This card's actually pretty good. I wish his ball handle was a little bit better, but he's fine. He's not the greatest defender. He's an excellent rebounder. He's just like a very well-rounded power forward or center. And if that's what you're looking for, like you could do a lot worse than Sabonis. Number 6, Bulls legend himself, Alex Caruso. Now, look, I think this card is a little overhyped and he's definitely too expensive, but you can't go wrong with Caruso. Hoff interceptor, basically a point guard version of Mikal Bridges. Basically, it's like the best way I can describe him. He does need some shooting badges, certainly. Like his shooting badges are a little limited, but if you're somebody who likes to attack the rim and you need a defensive stopper at the point guard, Alex Caruso can really hold it down. He's just a little bit expensive. That's like the only issue I truly have with this card. He has a dynamic duo. I forgot who his dynamic duo is though. Hold on, let me look at that. I think it's someone weird. I don't remember who it was exactly. Hold on, I gotta check the dynamic duo because I truly do not remember who it is. Mystic. Oh, I think it's season 3 iced out. Yeah, there's Caruso. His dynamic duo is, Diamond DeMar DeRozan. Not something you guys would realistically run. All right. Number 4, I'm not going to go into too much detail on this card. I mean, if you've watched any My Team content at all this year, you guys know about Marcus Smart. Look, he's a little bit too expensive, certainly, but he really does produce at a high level. He's good. He's a little bit small. I would say you do need to add like a ball handle shoe to him to really get the maximum benefit, but I still think he's really good. Number 3 is another card that I think is a bit overpriced, but he's good. Eddie Jones. Eddie Jones is fire. I mean, he brings you a little bit of everything. I mean, he is a much better ball handler than people give him credit for. He can't get Limitless, which I think is a lot of the reason that people kind of sleep on this card. If you could get Limitless, I think a lot more people would use him. It's not like people don't use Eddie Jones. He's not a sleeper hit or anything, but great steal animation, 6'6". He moves really well, easy to time jump shot. There's absolutely nothing wrong with Eddie Jones. He's super solid. Number 2 is probably going to be a surprise to a lot of people. And I'll be honest, I was shocked how good this card was. And that's Jonas Valancas. You know, I picked him up because I have a feeling that I'm going to need him for, spotlight sims for the Pelicans. Shout out to everybody who jumped in the comments and they were like, you said there's actually not very many big men for the Pelicans, but like AD and Zion. Yeah, dude, but they're also like over 100K consistently. Okay. I'd rather use Jonas Valancas that I got for 6K over paying 100K to do one spotlight sim. Okay. That's the point I was trying to make. Anyways, catch and shoot, corner specialist, brick wall, box, set shooter, pretty average badges for like a stretch big at this stage. I gotta say though, he's very, very solid. His release isn't terrible. It's set shot 16. It's the same as like Tom Chambers and Bobby Jones, with Lambeer upper, which sounds horrendous, but it's actually pretty good. He does come standard with like gold blinders, gold limitless, gold clutch shooter, hot zone hunter, bullet passer, hustler. He does need some post badges if you want to like score in the post consistently, but he's altogether super solid. If you're looking for a very cheap card you can get out of the box to hold down your center position, look no further. And then number one, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the card because I've been talking about him for what feels like an eternity. Jason Terry, specifically the non-masked version. Mismatch, Giant Slayer, quick first step, clutch shooter. Not the greatest, but with base 22, very solid release. He's one of the best 3-point hunting point guards in this game. I will say his value did take a hit based on the patch that we've received, but current gen's not really like that. You can still move pretty decent in current gen, and honestly, Jason Terry is one of the best 3-point hunting point guards in the game, especially that you can get for this price. And you can upgrade his limitless and his chef. A lot of the times you're going to find one with those already upgraded because people have moved on from this card and they're using like other cards at this point. But with that being said, it is your boy Cheap Loots. I hope this helped you pick up some budget players that helped your team out. I will be bringing this series back on a regular basis whenever we have like big market crashes or, an OD set of cards that come out. Anyway, stay tuned to the channel. I'll be dropping more content, obviously, every single day. And I appreciate you guys. Peace out.